Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're halfway through your work week. You have your babies off to school. And now it's your time. I hope you're doing well, family. I wanted to put this video out and share because I've had a lot of synchronicity, a lot of examples be brought to my attention. And I know for some, these are some puzzling times. May it be outside your door, inside your world, there's still you must choose. Now, you may be wondering why I'm bringing this up now. Because it seems like there's been a lot of grumbling and inner turbulence going on in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you. The commonality is defined by community. And as you've heard me echo, you can't have a community unless we all commune, which means we must have a certain perception to agree upon or disagree upon. But when we separate the responsibilities that take us outside our door, put us on the highways and byways, there's still the obligation to yourself. And some may be having a hard time with that because there are choices, there are obligations, and there are directions that you must embrace. If this video resonates with you, then this message is for you. Now, I'm saying that because I noticed the beginning of the year, I put out a couple of videos called The Ant and the Grasshopper. And I tried to throw the disclaimer out through metaphors and show examples that these two insects both represent, which it actually came from a children's story. And the story had an underlining message. The message was solely to be true to yourself, stay committed to your direction, and do not allow yourself to be distracted, and how those choices have repercussions as well as rewards. But as we made it to September, can you believe September, family? We're already here. As you already know that the year can be divided in 4 months. Look at where you were last year and look at where you are now. Can you imagine all the movement, all the interactions, all the diligence and responsibility that you've bestowed? If you take a second just to reflect on that, you would be amazed. Now I know for some, you know that the work is still required. And some of you are diligent on that. Some of you have taken on that responsibility, while some may see it as a burden. Some may see efforts that have been given senselessly have yet to yield the reward or the harvest of the effort. If this is your situation, now more than ever, I ask you to reflect. Do some introspection. Weigh the pros and cons. Because if you blink twice, family, this year will come to a close and we will be ushering in 2019. But I'll talk about that when it's time. Now, let's talk about some of the things that you may have chose to put to the side, some of the things that have relevance or priority, but yet you're unable to grasp it, to invest in it. Let me tell you something. As I've always echoed, every person that is able to hear my voice, take in a breath, as long as you have the means, it still can come to pass, and it shall. Just as you have natural gifts and talents, so shall your dreams. So do not be frustrated. If anything, redefine it, strategize it. Just make sure you do not exploit yourself. Just make sure that whatever the effort is, whatever the end goal is, it defines and it is the display of the making of you. Why? Because you're blessed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So don't give up. I know you may be frustrated. That's okay. Those are what we know as the growing pains of life. But as long as it resonates within you, it is within your grasp. Now, I've got to echo this. Some of you in 2018 decided to take the band aid off the wound. Some of you have had the courage to look at the scar. Some of you have actually decided to remove whatever that that aches you. And the first step is you acknowledge it exists. Now I know some of y'all may have a position of, Gerald, listen here. That's an emotional trigger for me. I don't have time to focus on that. I gotta take care of this first. But think of it like having a blister, so to speak. You also know that there's only two ways to remove a blister. Now, yes, we can try to endure, we try to ignore, but it only eventually frustrates until we decide to address what hurts us. And the first thing we can do is acknowledge that there is a pain, there is a grievance, there is an issue. I say issue, not problem, because any issue can be resolved by first acknowledging its presence. Now, you may be in a situation where you've tried that, you've strategized, you've even been more patient than most, because this may affect you in your work sector. You may have a coworker that no matter how hard you try to be pleasant, they make extra energy to make you not so. First of all, do not take that on. What I mean is, don't take on their burden. Do not take on their pain, because what you're witnessing is a deflection Yes, because misery loves company, family. So you've got to make a choice. Do you go along with it, or do you just remain and keep your grace? That may require you to be silent. That might require you to proverbially bite the side of your mouth, even though in your mind you're like, I would eh, just one good time, a good choke in. I'm just playing this game. But you've tried to do all you could, and to no avail. There's not any resolution in sight. You know why you're seeing that? Because that person is serving an example to you to take note of what, if you do not invest in yourself, you're going to turn into. Think about it. As you've already heard the proverbial saying, birds of a feather flock together, it's no different than misery loves company, too. So imagine if we flipped it and there was joy, there was happiness, there was peace. Because wherever there's peace, there's productivity because there's no disturbance. So to have that, you've got to be transparent. You've got to be willing to have dialogue. Now, I understand some people are not equipped to communicate properly, and you see that through their frustration. You may have someone that when they get frustrated, they like to break things. You may have someone that when they are in a jam, you see a child's tantrum in an adult form. Well, that spectacle is for their amusement, but your reaction. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because see, at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's a choice to be angry, just as well as a choice to react. But does anger benefit you? Does fear support you? Or does it alienate or just a simple distraction? I felt compelled this morning. At first, I wasn't going to come on, but I felt it in my spirit that somebody is wrestling with some relationship issues, and you've been trying real, real hard to stay afloat. And in turn, it's caused you to reflect on you, on the things that you needed to do or could have done compared to things just left alone. Because it's easy just to leave it be, wait for the storm to pass, or do nothing. Let me tell you something. Every time you choose to do nothing, you rob yourself of that smile. You rob yourself of that inner peace. You should not feel like the only way that you are grounded is that you have to get behind your steering wheel or you have to go to a special place just for a moment. But if it keeps the peace, if it keeps the turmoil down, do what you got to do. Don't compromise your safety or your livelihood because bills still got to get paid. That's for somebody. Because I got this feeling somebody has this on their mind that, if she come in here and say one more, it's on and popping. But the only thing that's going to pop is going to be that pink slip if you do the wrong thing. That's for somebody. Don't let somebody mess up your money. Now, let's go a little deeper, shall we? Some of y'all may be dealing with long-standing turmoil with your family. For some reason, maybe you're not seeing eye to eye with your siblings or your parents, and it's been frustrating, and it's gotten to a point that this pattern is now a behavior condoned. You ever thought that maybe because of your progression, that is really nothing but envy? You ever thought about that? Or maybe the fact that when they see you, they see your growth and they feel their regret because that is time not claimed. You ever thought about that too? And this could also be in your dynamic with your friends. I told you, friendships are nothing but the living example of your of your current state of mind. So whatever your mentality is, so shall your friendships be. So if there's drama and hot spots all around you, what y'all got to talk about? If there's no inspiration by action, what company are you keeping? If they who have access to your life do not bring the best you out by their actions, because you know that another human being can't complete you. They can inspire you and they can deplete you if you're impressionable. So you do have to make a choice. You realize there are people in relationships that are only as good as the paper that it was signed on. But from the outside world, they look like the Joneses. They have the white picket fences. They have the 2.5 children. What's a 2.5 child? And they have transportation that is desired. But inside their home, there's fear, there's anguish, there's no there's no love, no communication. And you know what else is not there? God. He ain't there. He's not there. And I'm saying that to someone because we as human beings tend to take for granted time. We assume that, oh, that person will be there. Or worse, with ego, they're not going anywhere. And then your reality shifts. And you find yourself pondering of how did I get here? It was all good yesterday, but what's going on now? And you may be feeling that you're losing sense of self, sense of control. No, what's really going on is the illusion that was your perception is falling apart. I'm saying this not out of ridicule. I'm saying this out of love. Why? Because you deserve to be happy. Who am I talking to? Tell me you don't deserve to be happy. Tell me you don't deserve to properly rest at night, to be at peace. Tell me you don't deserve that. And I will gladly tell you you're wrong. Because you do. You exist. So there is an obligation required for your life. So you have to make choices. Some choices require you to think. Doesn't mean you have to make a decision right then, but you do have to process it. And see, the one thing I noticed about this year, you have a lot of people that want the reward but don't want to invest. And then they see the investment but do not know how to apply it, the application, the process, the journey. They just know A and they know Z. And in between, it's anybody's guess. So you're going to have to be strategic. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. And you notice that the more true you become to you, like it or not, your reality will shift. And the things that maybe you were not aware of will be made manifested and revealed to you. Why? So you can make that choice. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I stand still? Or should I go forward? Now to get not to get on my spiritual soapbox, didn't God say, hey, I'm only asking faith for the mustard seed, and through him all things are possible. So imagine what you can do if you believed in you. But we're quick to say, I can't do it. I'm too old. I look this way. I have this financial need. This is number one, get out your head. Stop criticizing yourself. Take the negative fear-based words out of your vocabulary, like never, can't, won't, ain't. Those are negative. Claim yourself back. And the more that you invest in you, guess what's going to happen? You're going to attract people that will invest in you more. Now, here's the disappointing part. The people that you did not know and the people that you did know that wasn't investing in you, one by one, they will be revealed, and they will be removed. And you won't have to do anything. They will remove themselves because they will see that the person that they had access to has grown. Maybe this is the first time that you're actually hearing your voice for the very first time, but you think it's your temperament. And you think that that is spawned by your anger. And you think that, well, if I raise the octave of my voice, they will hear me. Well, actually, they don't. They put you on mute and they act like you don't exist. But trust and believe they make note. Mm-hmm. And that's why I've always conveyed to the intended heart and mind, stop worrying about who's not in your life if they do not represent your life. Because unfortunately, we live in a world of opportunists. And an opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. What is required is you to have the courage to acknowledge what you are seeing. See, it should not feel like you got to pull teeth, strong arm, or put your hands on someone to walk with you. They should naturally do so if they genuinely are your friend, if they genuinely see your worth. Because defining your worth can be measured in time. And the greatest gift a person can bestow to another person is being present, witnessing, taking note, being grateful, because you are the blessing. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all who still allow that tool called a cell phone dictate your life. And some of y'all have been scratching your head for quite some time because the people that you have grown dependent on, not so dependable these days, right? But when you ask them, hey, what's going on? What's this? They never tell you what you need to know. They tell you what you want to hear. But it's the actions and the behavior that is being exhibited that is the truth. So tell me again, you don't deserve to be happy. Tell me again that you don't see the value of that beautiful smile. Do you realize no one on this planet has your smile? That's like that's like walking a path and seeing a flower for the very first time. So why do you hide it from the world? Why do you do so? Now I know that people can be heinous. And I also know that people can be very hurtful. But it's also still a choice. You have to make a decision if you want to be present, if you want to endure. And you never know. If this is going on in your work environment, maybe the blowback that you're seeing is really a underlining message to you that you're not supposed to be there anyway. You deserve better. So maybe now's the time that you apply for that job that you know that you have the credentials for. Maybe this is the moment that you stand up on those precious feet with that beautiful mind, make that decision to take that trip. Who am I talking to? Some of you have got opportunity out of state, but yet you've been milling on it for a long time because the price tag for that is you'll be doing something different. But guess what? A bird can never know how high it soars if it doesn't make the choice to fly. That's for somebody. So don't worry about the people that you may leave behind. The people that genuinely have your best interest, the people that genuinely love you, they've told you this. They've told you maybe verbally or through consistency through their actions, showing their compassion, their kindness for you. And they only want the best for you. But for you to truly want the best for yourself, I say this and I end this video with this. Maybe this is the time you make the decision to get out of your own way. Because until you make the decision to get out of your own way, you can't get to where you should have been all along. So this may be your breakthrough, not your setback. Love yourself more and watch what God has in store for you too. That's from me to you. Hey, you're almost at the weekend, by the way. And shout out to those who sent their babies off to school. A new chapter, a new school year. So, as I always do, God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. And with that, stop tripping off them dreams you have. I know some of y'all having some pretty lucid dreams. That ain't nothing but your spirit giving you messages. Some are validations. And some is just telling you it's time to claim yourself back. You're worth it. Love to hear from you. Peace.